Really pleased and delighted to have you with us, Reverend Sheila Ford, um, a veteran speaker to us, and we are always so blessed to hear your messages. Your title today is The Awe in It All, and I'm really anxious to hear what you have to say. I'm envious of your move to Mexico. Tell me the name of the place again.
Ahihic.
Ajijic. I'm going to have to practice that.
Yeah.
Well, you left California after you retired. I guess you decided paradise was farther south.
Yeah. California was pretty darn good, but this is even better.
And you're currently serving as an associate minister at Unity Ajijic.
I am. Yes.
And then you also volunteer, I guess, at Lake Chapala.
Namaste Village, Lake Chapala, which is a spiritual community, and they allow Unity to have our services there.
Well, how wonderful. I'd like to just come down and spend some time with you all.
Yeah, I'd love it. Come on down.
We'll talk.
Okay.
Well, welcome once again, and we're certainly eager to hear what you have to say. So, Reverend Sheila Ford, take it away.
All right then. So, the awe in it all. And I deliberated after I picked that title, and I thought, the awe in it all and the awe of it all. I didn't know which was, maybe it's both and absolutely in everything. And what awe means is standing amazed before the amazing. And that would be you. Is it hard to receive that? That you are amazing and you are awesome. Sometimes we have trouble wrapping our heads around that kind of thing because we're taught to be humble and meek, and but there's a false humility that happens that's not really who we are. So, and there's research also on the extent of the power of this thing called awe and the benefits of it. And they're surprising, the results of the research. Awe is, you've all experienced it many times in your life. It's that thing that happens when you have a cold shudder, maybe, or your spine that goes down your spine, or the hairs on your arms stand up, or your skin prickles, and maybe you get tears of joy, or it just takes your breath away. Those moments. And they are beneficial according to the surprising results of the research. And that is that they reduce stress and they improve health and they light up something in us that is vital and that is alive. And we're talking about the power of that life energy, that life force that surges through our veins, surges through every part of our body and everything around us, in us, through us. And I got a text from my brother a couple days ago. He's in West Virginia, beautiful back there, much like it is in Kansas City, green and rainy and lush green. And he lost his wife after 54 years of marriage, and suddenly she came down with cancer and was gone within 6 weeks. And he's really grappling with that, of course. And they did a lot of traveling, a lot of cruises together, and he was getting ready to go on a cruise. And he didn't know how he was going to deal with that because they had been signed up to do that cruise. But he was at home by himself and trying to keep a decent attitude. And I explained to him, you don't need to have a positive attitude right now. You be you and do what you need to do to grieve. And he said, well, I'm sitting here having my cup of coffee and really, really enjoying that. And I'm looking out at leaves budding on the trees. And he said, I see a red cardinal and the sun coming up over the hill. And he said, I think I need and we need to more often open our eyes to enjoy, really look at everything. And he said, people too often look, but they don't see. And I was just marveling at how he was able to do that in that moment. And I think he was really trying to be strong for me, which he really didn't need to do. But he just made me realize there is awe in everything if we just look and see. So, but sometimes in our challenges in life, what happens when we get caught up in the worry? We fret the past, things we've done and said that we wish we'd said and done it differently, or things that have been done to us. And we fret about the future. We don't know what's around the corner, and we struggle with that. I want to know what's going to be happening in my life. It's hard to live in the moment with the Jason Mraz song, Living in the Moment. It's hard sometimes to do that. So we go, what if? And we gasp and we go, yikes, and we go, ugh. And everything or things appear to be broken. And that feeling of awe that we all encounter, that feeling of appreciation sometimes appears to fade, and we lose the bliss. So how do we keep our eye on the prize after the glow and the wonderment begins to fade? How do we do that? And sometimes it's a struggle. And Michelangelo said, you just chip clear what's already there, and there it is. Well, sometimes easier said than done, but I get what he's saying. It's already here. It's not a destination or a path or somewhere we seek to have, but we look for what's already here and just chip away to find it. It's gilded in gold. It's already here. But still, again, how do we dwell in the sweet purity of sacred, precious gifts that are surrounding us and in us? How do we find extraordinariness in everyday existence, in what appears to be just an ordinary moment? It's all hallowed ground, every bit of it. And sometimes life-threatening challenges, though, bring us to a renewed appreciation for, and even a renewed awareness of, exquisite miracles. Last Thursday, we had a really busy day, Tim and I, my husband and I, and we walk around in this small town a lot, and we walked up the hill to a dentist appointment, and I was huffing and puffing, and he was doing fine, and I was envious of that. And then we walked home with bags full of groceries, and then we walked to dinner, and then we walked to a concert, came home, went to bed. And about an hour we'd been in bed, and Tim came in the room. He'd obviously been downstairs, and he said, Sheila, I need you to get up. And I said, why? But I was already getting my clothes on because I knew. We'd had signs for about 6 months, but we didn't know what it was. We were saying, oh, it's this, it's that, it's something else, it's not that. He was having a heart attack. This was last Thursday night. It was so scary and so traumatic. And we got a taxi to the hospital, and in the ambulance ride to Guadalajara, which is about an hour over bad roads with ruts. And every time we would hit a rut, I would wonder if Tim was in the back staying on the stretcher or whatever they have them on. And I had the thought, what would I do without him? Who would I be without him? But I said, no, you're not going to let yourself think that right now. You do what you need to do, and you're not going to cry in front of him. And just be quiet and let the ambulance driver do what he needs to do to keep you all safe and get you to the hospital on time. And so, you know how our thoughts can get us really torn apart? But I've learned in Unity, our thoughts are prayers, and I learned to turn my thoughts around and not allow myself to do that, to do what I needed to do. So, but it was a pretty traumatic ambulance ride. And got to the hospital and feeling, really vulnerable and something like that. By the way, they did put a stent in and he's okay now. So then the next morning, I was sleeping on this lumpy couch in his room, and I was allowing myself to have those thoughts. And I got, gentle tears started to surface. And I went, no, you're not going to cry in front of Tim. It's traumatic for him too. So I was able to get it in perspective. But we had a nice talk about it because I said to him what was going on with me. And we talked about how it really puts things in perspective. It really gives you an idea of what's really important, and all that stuff that we thought was important was not. Our vulnerability. I mean, we never know. And all those times where we get frustrated with each other or irritated with each other because he doesn't do things the way I think they ought to be done, and vice versa, or I'll go around behind him and restock the dishwasher like I think that ought to be done. Like, oh, really? That's all so trivial. But I believe some of you may be relating to what I'm saying. And so we were in the hospital for several days in the same clothes that we had on that night, sleeping in them, no shower. So when we finally got home, we had a warm shower, deepened appreciation of a warm shower, deepened appreciation of a clean set of clothes to put on. I never had appreciation for a clean set of clothes to put on, the small pleasures. And then we laid down on the bed. Tim said, I just want to read in my own bed. And I was watching him read in the comfort of our own bed. And I was just in a sense of awe, the awe of it all, the awe in it all, the awe of life, sweet, sweet life. I was watching Tim reading, and then as he fell asleep, I was watching him breathing, and his chest was moving. And his lungs, I knew that his lungs were pumping air and he wasn't having to do anything to keep that going. I knew that his heart was circulating and beating. And I remembered them showing us the video after the stent was put in, where once the stent got in, the blood rushed in that blocked artery. So I was reliving the blood rushing into his arteries. And then I had increased appreciation for the tireless efforts of those medical professions that are there trying to save lives and alleviate suffering of people who are in a traumatic situation. And the nurse said to me, you didn't appear to be stressed. And I said, I was nervous. And she said, well, you could not tell. I said, yeah, I wasn't allowing myself to be that. And she said, well, a couple in the day before you, she was crying so hard, it was really hard on the man who was having the heart attack. And I said, well, I didn't want to think about me. I wanted to think about him and me. So their tireless efforts and all the training and schooling go through and the sacrifices that they make and the time and energy that they put into all of that and the money. And also, I was appreciating the life-saving medications and the scientific advancements and the medical research and the cutting-edge cardiac treatments that they didn't have years ago. And suddenly I was appreciating those, aware of those, and I never had been before. So it really brought things to the surface for me. And I just was realizing the awe in it all of this life. And I was thinking of a song that actually last year I spoke for your center around this same time, and I spoke about Pete Meyer and a song that he sang called Everything is Holy, or it's also named Holy Now. And he was a guy who was set for the Catholic priesthood, and at some point he had some realization and he dropped out of that and became a Unitarian, not a minister, but he switched to the Unitarian church. And he said, when he was a boy, he said holiness was something that came from God or that came from the church. And from the holy water that he dipped his fingers in, a morsel of consecrated bread, a sip of consecrated wine. But he says now everything is holy. A child's face, a new morning, red-winged bird, he said. He said, now I walk through the world with a reverent air because everything is holy now. Just reminds me of my brother in the midst of grieving over his wife of 54 years dying, how he was still appreciating the morning. And me with Tim's heart attack. And I'm wondering if Pete Meyer, if everything was holy now, because he reversed the cause and the effect. Maybe everything is holy now because he walks through the world with a reverent air. And it's easy to tell if someone believes something or someone is holy. Because are they treating that something or someone with respect, with reverence? Are they treating you with respect, with reverence? Others, animals, nature with respect and reverence? And you know what? I was thinking the beauty of thinking about holiness in this way is that way your life can be holy. Things become holy if you treat them with reverence. If we can remain present in the here and now, in the present moment, and at the same time, feel a sense of all the paths that have led us all here today, how all of our lives have converged here now, the threads that brought us all together in this moment, in this place. Feel for a moment how this moment is holy. Sometimes we hold back. We hide our light under a bushel basket, so to speak, as it says in the Bible. We play it safe. We keep a low profile. We live small. And when we finally maybe someday have a breakthrough, and this happened to Linda Martella Whitsitt. I'm sure you know who she is. Bye, honey. He's going on to our next Unity. Linda Martella Whitsitt. She said she was at this place and she was feeling really small and living small and holding in and at this retreat. And finally one morning she woke up and she said, wait a minute, I am somebody. I want to be recognized and respected. I have talents and skills that are needed here. I am not a meek mouse. I am a powerful being. And then others said to her in response, oh, there you are. We've been waiting for you. Wow, think about yourself. If you come to life one day and say, I am a powerful being, I am somebody, and we might say to you, oh, there you are. We've been waiting for you. And in your spiritual presence in those kind of moments, others may awaken to their own divine identity, just being in your presence. And when you stand in a moment fully alive, fully present, you may be every bit as effective as Jesus was when in his presence others experienced their own innate wholeness. Can you take that in? Can you be involved in your journey? Can you care and feel? Can you be aware of the emotions that stir within, the feeling in your body, in your heart, in your soul? Can you connect with that? Can you own it? Own it all. Cherish it. Can you know it as a divine, holy experience? All of it. The wonder of how your life has evolved, the people in your life, the relationships, your experiences, your conflicts, your misunderstandings, the miscommunications, the not being heard, the heartbreaks, the tears, the laughter, the joys, the beautiful learning and growing, the phases of your life, the eras of time in your life, each and every one of them, the good, the bad, the ugly. Can you recognize the context that each had in bringing you where you are now? Every part and parcel of it. The journey, your evolution to now. It's a sacred love story. It's a parable that others can learn and grow from. Your sacred love story. Can you marvel at the incredible mysteries to come? The endless possibilities that are going to be open to you and available to you, your miraculous future, the opportunities. Can you marvel at the unknown, at the mystery, at that loving force, the force that's in everything? Can you contemplate your existence, your purpose, why you are here, what you came here to be, who you came here to be? Can you contemplate the mystery of it all, the marvelousness of it all? You, yes, you are holy. You are chock full of holiness. Do you even have a clue how holy you really are? Say to yourself silently now, I am such a miracle. I am such a miracle. My body, it's a temple for my soul. My soul is a miracle. My ego is a miracle. It serves a purpose too. Myself, all of me, and everything and everyone around me. Let that sink in. What a miracle I am. I claim and I accept this truth about me. I say yes to it. Say it to yourself again, this time with authority, like you mean it. What a miracle I am. What a miracle I am. Yes, that's more like it. Yes, now you're talking. And one more thing, speaking to yourself from the depths of your soul, gently this time. You, my beloved, are indeed a miracle. Let's take that into meditation. So let's just take a few deep breaths. And if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, and dropping down into our hearts and down further into that secret, sacred place that is ours and ours alone, where we commune with Divine Spirit, where we are safe, where no one else can enter. We relax, we let go, we breathe and open to receive. We bring together the merging of our heart and our head, the natural flow of both of these energies. Let go, relax, breathe, open to receive. For a few moments during prayer this morning, during meditation, let's allow Divine Spirit to get its hands on us, filling ourselves to overflowing with love and an awareness of actions that tear down the walls between us and that heal the nation. Offering our hearts to be mended, our minds to be illumined. Feeling grateful to know without any doubt that we can go to that divine center anytime we are in turmoil, experiencing challenges, recognizing the awe in it all, absolutely everything. We chip clear what is already there. There it is, gilded in gold. We now dwell in that sweet purity, sacred, precious gifts, finding extraordinariness in everyday existence, in ordinary moments, recognizing it is all hallowed ground, every bit of it. We walk through the world with a reverent air because everything is holy now. Oh, we know this divine holy experience. Knowing we are holy, we say yes quietly, I am a miracle. What a miracle I am. I claim this truth about me. I say yes to it. What a miracle I am. Yes. And one more time, speaking to ourselves from the depths of our souls. You, my beloved, are indeed a miracle. And so it is. Just take the time to gently come back to this present moment. Let us know you are complete by opening your eyes when you're ready.
Something wonderful just happened to me, Sheila, and it was your talk.
Really?
What a
Oh,
profound reminder of how to get out of my egotistical small circle and into the beyond of something wonderful. And
yeah,
I'm so thankful that your husband survived his ordeal and is doing well. That's a blessing as well. And
no
it
kidding.
certainly takes close encounters of that type to wake us up, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Well, thank you so much for sharing and for being a part of our service today. You always add such light and perspective to our thinking, and we just love having you. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, Doug, thank you for your kind, sweet words. That fills my heart.